Hello, my name is Jesh Patil, and today's video topic is about the multi-threading and the methods present in the multi-threading. The date for the video is 23 of July 2021. First of all, starting on the exact topic of the multi-threading, first of all, we have to understand the concepts which are very related to the multi-threading. So there are the concepts which is very important to get understand before starting the actual topic of the video. The multi-threading is quite related to the multitasking and multiprocessing. So we will discuss about the multitaskings and what is meant by the multitasking that's performed in the computer. Either you are performing as a human, we are performing many activities at the several time, or you can also say that many tasks can be performed at the one time. So this concept is called as a multitasking. To understand in the better way, we have to take some examples of the multitasking. Suppose we are performing or we are doing a certain work in a computer on the MS Word. Suppose that you are typing or creating any data for the any purpose. So while you are creating or typing any data, at similarly at the simultaneously you are also doing or also listening to music or multiple tabs are open in the computer. So at the one time you are doing multiple activities or multiple tasks. So this phenomenon or this concept is called as a multitasking. Similarly, the the multiprocessing is quite related to the, which is very important related to the multi-threading. So both multitasking and the multiprocessings are quite independent to the and quite dependent on each other to use. So these are the multitasking and multiprocessing are both are used for multi-threading. So the multiprocessing means what? The multiprocessing in which means we have a certain activities to be get implemented, and while we are using the processing in that, so the activity the output that input that we are giving to the computer or to the processor, that's all get processed in a certain time, and in the form of output we get the activities that can be the process that's created by the processor. This is called as the multiprocessing. At the time the processor performs the multiple activities, so it's also called as a multiprocessing unit. It consists of the some arithmetic logical units, that's also called as ALU. So all the unit that's perform all the processing tasks in the processing unit. So the similarly, what is the multi-threading? To better way to understand about the multi-threading, we have to understand some basic example which is very related to our day-to-day life. So it will get more easier to understand about the multi-threading. As we discuss about, we are doing something work in MS Word, or we are doing a typing. Similarly, there are one more process is also ongoing. If you make a spelling mistake, it will be shown in red lines. So it gives us to correct that statement. So the multi-threading means what? Simultaneously, a multiple processes has been happen or has been created multiple times. So this phenomenon is called as a multi-threading. It means that you are performing a task in a MS Word which is created one thread, and the other is of checking for spelling mistakes, which is either created another thread to perform that task of checking the errors in the spelling. So this phenomenon is called as the multi-threading. So the multi-threading is, as we discussed, is the important part, which is the we are performing under the into the processing unit. So this is called as a multi-threading. The first we see that what is the thread is actually do. The thread is also starts from the main method. The thread is the you can say that it is we are implemented several lines of code, but which is from where you have to execute the code. So it will be decided by the main method, and the thread scheduler is very important to create a thread in which it detects that the thread is actually used to run the or to execute the programs by thread by the JVM. So there are there are two ways in which you can create a threads. The threads are created by creating the object of the thread, and the second type is called as the using by the implementing the runnable thread. So these are the two types from which you can create the threads. So the next point of the thread, that's why the multi-threading is very important in the Java. So as we discussed that we can understand with this example. Suppose that we are performing multiple tasks at a certain time, or suppose or either we taking the some websites which if you are only one thread, so there are if you are creating only one thread, so it will be taking a long time to get understand, and the output which is come in a very long time. So the multi-threading means what? If the same you can understand with that, uh, if the website so let's take example that is there in a website which have multiple access to it, and just you are creating the one thread for that, and there is only one thread which is accessing the data from the multiple users. So it will take more time to get the output, and the system will get failed. To avoid this scenario, we have a multiple threads concept is usually used for that. So what do you mean by the multiple threads? That so we have multiple users to access that particular website. So at that time, each and every thread will be get distributed into particular users. So suppose that one user will, one thread will be go to the A user, the second thread will be go to the B user. So at the multiple times it will be get distributed, and the load on the system which has to be get a very which is come under this load on the system will be get distributed, and other the reason of the fail will be get neglected by while using the multi-threading. So this is the way we can use the multi-threading. So there are some more concepts and the methods which is very important to get understand while using the multi-threading. The multi-threading is a concept which is associated with the multiple methods. First of all, the method that we use for the multi-threading is called as the run method. The run method is nothing but we are implementing the run method to implementing the code under that method. So this method is called as a run method. Then another method which is very important to the and which is very related to the run method is called as the start method. The start method which is very which is related, and without a run method it cannot be the start method cannot be implemented. So these both are dependent on each other. The start method is that which is used to execute the code. Means that if you understand that in a run method we are implementing the code, and while in the start method we are execute the code. So this is the difference between the start and the run method. So there is another method is called as thread.slip. The thread.slip concept method which is used to stop the thread for a certain times. For a certain time, you can stop the that particular thread to at a certain time. It is a time bound method. We have to give some time which is in a millisecond. So it will be at that time thread will be get sleep, and after that time, if we pass the time, the thread will be get activated and go to the task that which it will get it assigned to it. So after that it will get executed and do the output of the that particular thread. Then the another method is called as a join method. So this the join method is very important to be get understanding of the concept of the join method. Within that we are creating the two threads, and the output of the two threads are coming in a different manner, or not in a particular order, and we have to get that specific order of that output. At that time we have to implement the uh, join method. The join method is means that if you are creating the two threads, and we have to run through two threads differentially, means that not active the simultaneously two threads. We don't want to run the two threads simultaneously. We have to access that we have to run thread uh, first thread. Then after the completion of that first thread, we have to access to run the program of the run the second thread. At that time, we have to implement the join method under the that way under the two threads which are going to be get executed to the method. So the join method is basically used for the stop for the performing the work of the first thread. Then it will go to the second thread. So this is about the join method. The next method is called as the yield method. The yield method is uh, called as the yield method because whenever we have to use a method which is the code is very important, or you can say that code will take more time to get executed. At that time, it gives a freedom to that access to get the code which is very early giving so it will be gives access to perform the code which is uh, get very easily and in a negligible time. So after that, the code which is very important, so it will be get executed after that codes which is are not very important or which takes less time. After that, the code which is under the yield method will be get executed. So basically it is used for the, I can say that it is basically used for the some of the delay for that method to be get to stop for a certain time, and which is the code is very important or it is long in size or multiple line of codes without any exception in it. So after that, after the all process has been done, after that the code will be get executed. For that, the yield method is particularly used for that. Then the wait method is very used in the multi-threading. So what basically wait is do? As we discussed about the sleep method, but the sleep and wait method are two different methods. The sleep has a time bound, means that we have to implement, we have to give some time for the sleep, but the wait method does not have any time limit. If you don't give it will be get in a long time sleep until we not notify it when to get activate its activate activates process. So at that time, notify method is also used to understand the to give notify that how much time to wait for executing the code. So wait and notify both are dependent on each other. The most important thing that whenever we are using the wait method, it will be used when the methods are synchronized. So at that time, you can only use the you can use the wait or wait and notify method. So these are the basic methods. There are also the methods called as a get thread name, set priority, set is the set daemon. So the daemon is the basically it gives a boolean value in true or false. Then the get thread name gives the thread of the name of the thread. Then there are a particular then the topic of the set priority and get priority. Set priority, you have to set the properties in the range of 0 to 1 to 11, or it might be take 1 to 10. So this is the range where you can implement that set priority and get which is very important. It is basically it's divided into three parts: low, medium and high. So low priority threads, medium priority threads and the high level priority threads are divided into the three different categories. According to that, according to the number 0 to 5 or 5 to 10. So according to the particular number, you can assign the value of the to set the priority, and you can also get the priority of that thread. So these are the methods. Then the delete thread, date thread. So these all the methods are used in the multi-threading string to string method. So these are the multiple methods, which is around 36 methods to be used in the multi-threading. But these are the some important methods basically which is mostly used in the multi-threading. So this is all about the multi-threading in the particular in the Java and the methods of the multi-threading. The multi-threading that's we are used for reducing the load and the work and time optimization and time used for time less the time complexity and initialization and serialization and the synchronized way. All that can be done in the very well by using the multi-threading. So I think this is all about the multi-threading, and date for the video is 23 of the July 2021. So thank you very much.